Greetings everybody, it's me Wattles, Minecraft Guide, episode 47, 7 Heaven. I hope you're doing well, I'm doing swell, and yeah, welcome back. So, it's a good day. Look at the smile on Big's face. Big is just absolutely happy. Bark is making a lot of noise as always, and I think they're happy because, top left, take a look. Minecraft 1.14.4, the world has been updated. Now, I will inform you if I'm happy based on if there are green bouncy guys or not. So we've been waiting for slime to spawn down here, and if slime are down here, happiness 100. If slime are not, happiness is... that's not the right kind of green guy. Happiness is at 3. I am not happy. Oh, man. So if you can recall, about 10 episodes now, slime spawned in this chunk here. But we've been waiting because slime chunks are kind of bugged, and they're not spawning always where they're meant to. I think there's more than one slime chunk in this area. This is a lot of chunks cleared out. Oh, man, I'm bummed. That project is going to have to go on hold, unfortunately. We could try and run far away and run back, reset the mob spawn, see if there are any, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, unfortunately, that means this is the end of the episode today. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. We have a backup plan. The original intention for today's episode was a farm. The backup plan, our second intention for today's episode, is also a farm, but a different one. Today we're going to start and finish our very first fish trap farm. My sword, I need it, thank you. So, this farm, first, why would you want to build this in your world? Well, if you are like me and you happen to like to use gray glass or black glass on builds, you know you need ink sacs. And if you happen to be like me, you're out of ink sacs. So, that's the main reason you'd want this in your world. This farm can get you some ink sacs. This farm will also get you some fish and a little bit of bone meal, and maybe even some puffer fish as well, depending on where you build this. If you are strongly against AFK fish farms, but you want fish, well, this is the build for you. Now let's talk about some materials that you'll need. The thing that we'll be building is actually pretty cheap to build. The main resource you'll be needing for this build is iron. We'll need some rails, a minecart with a hopper in it, another hopper to put things into a chest, which means a chest, and then finally some magma blocks as well, which we don't have. So we're going to swing into the nether for magma blocks. Of course, you're going to want some building blocks as well, so have those like wood, cobblestone, something, and if you happen to have Aqua Affinity Respiration 3 helmet, then use that too. Unfortunately, I don't have Respiration 3. I dug through the chests of books and none of that stuff, so we're gonna have to do without, but it's possible. It's just harder, but it'll be okay. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. So, let's go over to the nether and grab some magma blocks for the project. But while we head to the nether, I'd like to talk about something big. Over in the top right-hand corner of the screen right now, there should be a poll. The poll, well, that's about an OPTIFINE episode. Right now, because we just updated to 1.14.4, we do not have OPTIFINE in this world. I will be putting it back on, though. My question for you, would you like to see an episode of the guide series all about OPTIFINE, what it does, how to use it, things like that? Because if the answer is yes, I'll do it. If not, then I'll just do something else and there'll be no OPTIFINE episode. Totally up to you. Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. Totally up to you, though. If you want to see it, I'll do it, and if you guys don't want to see it, well, I probably won't do it. So, we need magma blocks, and magma blocks are down low. Oh, yeah, down low. Right there, I was thinking, I don't really want to go to the next to the lava, but don't worry, we don't have to. What did I... I don't know why. I thought I saw another word over there. We only really need a stack of magma blocks for this project, but I'm going to go ahead and rip out a lot of this little chunk area because why not? We'll need more later, so might as well grab them now while we're here, right? And we're out. We're out. We're done. We're leaving. Goodbye, pigmen. Goodbye, ghasts. Goodbye, lava oceans. And hello, peace, safety, and calmness. We're back in the dimension that I prefer quite a bit. Now, for this build, you need water, but not just any old water. This farm must be built in a river or ocean biome. The type of ocean doesn't matter, but if you build this in like an inland lake, you're not going to get anything. So don't build it there. Make sure you're in the right biome. Now, we have a warm ocean over here, which is the best biome to build this in because pufferfish can spawn in warm oceans. If you have a warm ocean near your base, you should definitely just choose that as your building site. This is the lukewarm ocean. Warm ocean is over here with our coral, so we need to pick an area. This farm is not the prettiest either, so let's kind of hide it, and I think we could hide it probably down here. If we put it over there, we'd see it, and don't know if I want to really see it. So we'll need an 8x8 area. I think we could clear some of the coral out from over here, so let's do that. Now, be careful. When you're harvesting coral, if you want to keep the stuff, you need to use Silk Touch, even on the plants. If I break this block that the plant is sitting on, I will not get the coral fans, so be careful when you're harvesting this stuff. I really advise that you do harvest this with Silk Touch because it doesn't grow. It won't come back. If you get rid of it, like with a pickaxe, that's it. It's gone. You can't farm it, so Silk Touch it always. It's pretty. It's great for decorating, and it just looks cool. The textures are really, really nice. If you don't like the colors, you could technically kill this stuff by putting it out in the air, and then you have really interesting textured gray blocks that work great for walls and sometimes paths as well, so coral should always be harvested, basically. Now, I really recommend, is that you use a Respiration 3 helmet, Aqua Affinity, just like have a water set or a conduit. Now, we have the ability to make a conduit, but we can't activate it. We don't have any prismarine still, so we either need to go tackle an ocean monument soon and just take some prismarine from there, or we need to find some ocean ruins and take the sea lanterns, because that would work as well. Sea lanterns will activate a conduit. But if you have one of those or some water gear, definitely bring those too. They're good. They'll help you. You won't regret it. And if you don't, just be ready to swim back and forth. Lots of back and forth. Okay, so this looks like it's a good 8x8 area. Somewhat, maybe. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 that way. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an 8x8. Okay, good. Now, after clearing out your space for the build, you're going to need to remove the sand and then 3 blocks below. Big tip here. Dig down 3 blocks like that, or 4 if you're counting the sand, and then make a hole in the walls so you can go in and out of it and breathe. Now all of the blocks need to go away. If you decide to make a little hiding hole, it will make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to going back and forth, up and down, because I don't have to go all the way up now. I can just go right over here and breathe for a minute, fill my breath back in, and then continue digging this area out. Now, after this step, we're going to need our magma blocks, and we'll be placing them in, and this area down here will get a whole lot more dry because actually down low, these aren't water sources. These are blocks that are filled with falling water. Once we block off the falling water, this area will be dry, so you don't really need sponges for this build at all, which is a good thing. Or at least a good thing for us, because we don't have any. So go ahead, do your digging here. 3 blocks down, 8x8 area. You can make it smaller, by the way. You can make this like 6x6 or 5x5, just smaller. You can make it a rectangle. It can be any shape, really. You can make it a circle. But I'm doing a square. And I'm doing a square because it's easier. That's really the only reason. And digging done. After you've dug everything out, it's time to place your magma blocks in. I'm going to place my magma blocks 1 block below where the sand once was. You don't need to necessarily do it like this. You can put this even with the sand, but I want my farm to look at least a little prettier, so this is how I'm going to do it. After placing in your magma blocks, the area below your blocks should drain out like that. Don't forget some torches. You don't want spawns down here. Then you'll need your rails. My rails are not on me, so that means I need to go all the way back over to where I came from. Now, there are a few options here. You can go ahead and just dig a tunnel back over to the land from underneath your farm, or you can like block it off some way, like signs or something, and then just go ahead and let the water pour down in. I am going to do the water pouring in option because I have a cooler idea than an underground tunnel to get over to this farm. So water, welcome. The signs are stopping it though, and we need that to go away, and that too, and over to the rails. You know, in classic me fashion, I forgot some things. We need powered rails as well, so here I am back over at the storage room. Don't forget powered rails. I'll put a pop-up earlier on in the video, but powered rails, whoops, you need those, and I think coral can go right there for now. Okay, so now we need to talk about laying our rail line underneath our magma block trap. The rail line laying can be a little bit tricky, admittedly, because we need the cart to keep moving. Now first, I recommend clearing out all of the edge blocks around your magma block. So basically you have one more block of space, if that makes sense, going around your room. This will better allow the minecart to turn. Now, after doing that, we need to actually put our rail line in. Now I'm going to lay the rail line on, I think, granite. First, we can do the turns, and I recommend starting at the back. Basically, the goal is to get a minecart running underneath each and every magma block here. So it's kind of like one of those puzzles, if you've ever done the puzzles where it's like you need to fill everything in and you can't cross over anything, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I just did the best explanation of that puzzle, but yeah, it's one of those things. So basically, good luck. It's not the easiest job in the world in this game, but it's also not the hardest. You will want this line to reach all the way over to the front, where we will put a hopper as well, so keep that in mind. And also, you need a lot of powered rails from my experience, because turns slow minecarts down. If your minecart is slowed down enough, it will stop, and if the minecart isn't moving, the items aren't getting picked up, and that's a problem. Now our collection will be over here because this is towards where our base is, so I'm going to need to make a little bit of a room in here. Now, while you're doing this, be careful. Don't let water go anywhere near your rails, or you're going to have to start over. And you probably don't want to have to start over, so be careful. And eventually, if you've done it right, you should end up with something that looks like this. That is perfect. We have rails going underneath each and every magma block, so I'm happy, and everything is good. Now we need a hopper minecart. I thought I made enough hoppers, but I guess I didn't. So new hopper coming in now. So hopper minecart, just like that, and then we need to start it. To start it, try placing it on a corner and try and nudge it. So can we? Yep, there we go. Nudged it, and it's gonna go, and it should go forever. If you have enough powered rails, the cart should just run continuously on a loop, and that's good. It's a noise machine, but it's good. That's what we wanted. Now, before I do anything up above, again, I am going to make sure... Oh, that's not how we make a wall. That's right. What I was saying is, now before we do anything else up top, we are going to make sure that everything down here is safe from any water spilling in, because I don't want to have to redo this. So, wall, and we can still open the chest, and no matter what happens, water will not fall down into this area, at least so long as I don't break the magma blocks. Now we need to actually activate our magma blocks, which is pretty easy. We need water sources above all of those things, and you can do this very, very easily by creating a diagonal line of water sources across the middle of your magma blocks. The water will fill in, and your magma blocks will be activated. Be careful, don't swim above this thing, especially if you set it down into the ground one block, because it's a trap. You can die. It's dangerous. But that is what we're going for. Now we need to just kind of wait for fish to swim around, swim through this thing, then get sucked down. The magma blocks will unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, kill those fish or squid or possibly even drowned, actually. So yeah, I guess that's another drop that you can get from this thing. Any drops that a drowned would have without a player killing it. Make sure all of your magma blocks are activated. You can do that by pretty much just kind of studying, making sure there's bubbles coming from everywhere. There is, it looks good to me, so we're done. That's actually it. That's all you need to do to get this farm up and running. Now, you'd really just want to move away from it, let it do its thing, and check the chest every once in a while for drops. Now, we need a way over to this farm, of course, and I think that way should be, and it has to be, a glass tunnel, so we can walk right over to this area, then like climb down a ladder and check our chest. So I think that means it's time for me to sail. I need to sail northward in our ocean all the way to the desert where the sand is. I don't have a lot of sand, and this tunnel is going to take quite a bit of sand. I'm picturing maybe a 3x3 tunnel of sand. I'm picturing maybe a 3x3 glass tunnel, entirely glass. So yeah, it's definitely the resource collection part of this project here. So I'm gonna grab my map, I'm gonna grab a boat, I already have my shovel, and I'm going to go dig. I'm gonna fill my whole inventory up, I think, with sand, and nothing but sand. You know what? No, let's show this thing off in action really quick. We have a drowned chasing me. If I go over here, the drowned is going to try and pathfind straight through this trap. Now, of course, I won't usually be in the water. This will work naturally. Mobs will just kind of wander in here. The drowned is stuck down there now and is going to wander around and eventually die. The drops will continue to be pulled down onto those magma blocks, so the rotten flesh, and boom, it's gone because the minecart picked it up. So that's how it works, exactly. Now it's sand time. Let's go. Now, I should mention that squid are a little more tricky when it comes to these farms. Squid can swim out of these columns here. So unfortunately, this isn't the best squid farm that we can do. We'll probably do one of those later, but it is a squid farm. We should be getting some ink sacs from this thing from time to time, which is really all I need right now. But I'm back with an inventory full of sand, and that means it's time to get smelting. All of this sand needs to be smelted up, or not all, but most, into glass. So until we have an auto smelter, this is how we do it. In the meantime, while our sand smelts up, we need a little bit of dye. I am thinking a lot of this tunnel will just be plain glass because it looks good, but I definitely would like a touch of color. What color would be cool? Well, I think light blue would look really, really good, and that means we need to head over to the swamp biome with a little bit of bone meal because the flowers that grow there provide light blue dye. And now the glass tunnel, or at least the beginning of it. So let's go ahead and jump over into the water and head over near our farm. I imagine that this tunnel does not need to be all that fancy or advanced. All we really need is a glass tube that goes from there over to here. So that means I think we can start it by just going, well, where's the middle? There's the middle. So we want to go straight up from there, and there a little bit, and then we'll curve it and go right over. I think we'll have the glass tunnel's floor be like here or something. That feels good. It's like above the coral, so I can leave that there and have things look really, really cool. Now, I said 3x3. That is the plan here. So, of course, that means something that looks a little bit like this, but I'm thinking blue stripe on the left side, blue stripe on the right side. So that's the plan here. Pretty straightforward. I think the tunnel will be, I don't know how many blocks it is. It's got to be like, is that like 30 blocks? Or maybe that's more like 40, or I hope it's not 64 blocks, because then I'll need to make more glass. But either way, we need a glass tube coming straight in, cutting through the land, so I'll dig that out. And then after building it, we'll talk about draining it. Okay, so I have a lot of this tunnel done. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Let's talk about draining it. So draining it isn't really going to be a quick process, but it also won't be hard. All we need to do, place dirt and then dig the dirt out, and that's it. The water will go away. It just is gonna take some time. So that's how I plan on draining it. If you have sponges and you're doing something like this, definitely just use sponges. I definitely recommend those a little bit more than this. You definitely could be using like sand or gravel and like do the torch trick to remove the water as well, if that's how you'd like to do it. But I just really don't mind doing it this way. That's not that big of a deal to me. So this is the way I'll be doing it. Alright, well, finally, this water tunnel is all done. Honestly, the largest part of this farm, the biggest part of the project was this whole tunnel here. But down below, we have our farm. It's still running, and I have a little bit of fish. I have a feeling this is going to become more of a tropical fish and maybe even rotten flesh farm than an ink sac farm, but that's okay. It's cool to have in our world. Now, for now, I left this part of the tunnel flooded so we can get up and down, and eventually, once I have a string farm, we'll come back in and, oh no, I have the wrong glass there. Eventually, we'll come back in and place some scaffolding so we can just climb right up and down, and everything will still look cool because the ladders wouldn't really fit in there. In the tunnel, I tried to make sure the land underneath it looked cool, and then I placed some carpets. It's a little dark in here, but mobs won't spawn inside of it, so I'm thinking it's fine for now. Maybe we'll come back and do something else. Well, definitely we'll come back and do something else because I like the idea of adding some prismarine supports, but we don't really have prismarine quite yet. So for now, the tunnel sits there and it looks like that. With OPTIFINE, the textures will be connected, and this tunnel will look a whole lot more beautiful than it does now, for sure. And then finally, with those prismarine supports and that I'm talking about adding in eventually, the tunnel will fully evolve up and look really cool. I think we could definitely add some buildings out here in the water as well. Definitely not disturbing the reef though, and that would help this look a little less random as well. Now, eventually I think I'm going to connect this up to either a building or maybe a sewer system that we run under the town, but for now, I think we're calling it a day, and the project is good where it's at. I'm pretty happy with it, and I am excited to keep my eyes on it and see what we really get from it and exactly how much ink sacs we're going to collect up, if any. Hopefully some, but I'm not expecting a bunch. We'll definitely have to get around to making a squid farm sooner or later. But that just about does it, other than, of course, the comment of the day, and oh boy, I need to just remove those plants now at this point. Today's comment of the day is from Judah JF. The comment was, can you look for a woodland mansion in a future episode? And, you know, I think that is a really, really good idea. So, absolutely yes, is the short answer. And a longer answer would be that we'll look for it after we get some of the other stuff done. I already kind of feel like I have a lot of plans and ideas and everything, and I'd like to definitely tackle some of those plans and ideas before going off on a big adventure like that. I think a woodland mansion would be really cool to find, but it would also be a kind of a random sidetrack at this point, right? So we'll do it once we have a few other things done around here for sure. But that just about does it for episode 47. So I'd like to send a special shout out to Archangel today. Thanks for the support, and thank you all for watching. My name is Wattles. That's a fish farm, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.